I'll check this after the class. What you people have written. What work did you do? You didn't. You have to do it. Then only I'll answer the question. Because if you are, not, I am telling you, right, you should put some effort. Then I'll give you the answer. Final answer I'll give you. What is the proper answer? But from your end, what you have done, that is most important. Just you need to include some good scholars of anthropology because you mentioned the studies, but who has done it that you have to mention. So though you see it from the paper and you write, it doesn't matter, but you have to write them. Okay, so you just do the work. When you complete for both of you, then I'll answer that question. It's good. This is how you have to do that. You have to take the support of the journals that have been published, whether they have agreed with this principle or they did not agree. Then you write the counter view and then you give the conclusion. That's what you have to do. But for that, I wanted you to do that. So this habit and attitude you have to develop. Once you develop this habit and attitude, no, for developing the contemporary angle, automatically you won't worry about the subject at all completely. So
Understood the present day relevance means like the present anthropologist in the sense.
present who are existing now. So that means in the last 10 to 20 years, the contemporary anthropologists, did they agree that in the past, these people were saying promiscuity was the earliest form of marriage. So did they agree? Are they agreeing to it? Or what view they are presenting? Or the people who are present now, are they denying the fact that they are promiscuous? What counter arguments they are giving? So these things you have to mention. So I hope you'll do the work. So then we'll talk about it. I thought at the end of the session I'll talk about it, but if you haven't done, then I should not set the precedent that okay, even without you people doing the work, I'll be discussing. Only when you do, I'll be discussing it. Okay. So now coming to James Frazer. James Frazer, yesterday I have explained that he tried to understand the evolution. So he said that everywhere mindset of the people develops in a particular manner. So this he has talked in the book Golden Buff, and in the book he talks about the evolution of humans psychology. He saw three elements are characterizing three stages of mental development. Okay, so through that he tried to give the magic, religion, and science. So here at one stage, the psychology was to control because believing that universe is regulated by established laws. So once you know the laws, okay, that you using those laws you will regulate it. So those laws are intangible and universal. So now once you know the laws of nature, you can control the universe. So they thought they can control the universe and they started controlling. They used to learn these laws and practice it and experiment. But what happened over a period of time? They knew that this magic is not working. These laws are not working. Then they thought that these supernatural powers that exist cannot be controlled. So they submitted themselves and they started worshipping them. Thereby, the concept of religion evolved. So the second stage is religion. Now you are seeing the mental development at three stages, right? Three stages, three kinds of mental elements. are there. In the next stage, you have come to the scientific evidence. You know what law works on what principle, how it works, how it is controlled, and you know the backing, objective backing of the law. Then comes the rationality, and thereby moves towards the science. So, magic, religion, and science was the things that he has talked about. Then within the magic, you have law of similarity and law of contact. Okay, so I told you, law of similarity means like produces like. I told you, you take a doll similar to the person and you pierce pins into it. In the movies, you notice that, right? So the men or women there also feels the same thing. So that is the law of similarity, or like produces like. Whatever you are doing, that will happen there. Next is law of contact. Once in contact, always in contact. That means you take something which has been in contact with the person, and that thing you'll use to do the magic and apply the magic on that particular thing, assuming that still the thing is contact with the person, because once in contact, always in contact. So these are the two laws. So practitioners of these laws were known as magicians, and they performed magic. The next comes religion. Okay, so you can just see the same thing. There is nothing more to do here. So just you have to know this, and after that you have third stage, that is science. You got it right? Magic, religion, and science. Then he also talked about totemism and taboo. So according to Frazer, see, he studied Arunta tribes of Australia. Arunta. Okay, so I told you what is totemism. Totemism is nothing but it is a belief by a group that we learned as a clan, a belief by a clan that an animal or a plant is their ancestor. So a group is believing that an object, a plant or animal, is their ancestor, which is mystical in nature. Say they don't know exactly. For lineage, you know who is your ancestor exactly, but in clan, you don't know who is your ancestor exactly. There are, it's traced long back, right? So, but mystical ancestor, and you assume that the particular totem or a plant or animal is their ancestor. So this plant or animal is called as totem, and this belief is called as totemism. So this is the mystical relation of the clan with the animal, which is known as totem, or plant, which is known as totem. So according to Frazer, totemism originated due to belief in the soul. In the past, we have read about E.B. Taylor, right? So when we read about E.B. Taylor, there we try to understand how he explained the concept of soul, linking it to animism, then the polytheism and the monotheism, right? So now here you notice that he also tries to explain the concept of totemism using the soul. So now he says that soul resides somewhere in the plants or animals after leaving the body, after the death. So they used to believe that soul resides in the plant or animal and it is present there. So now they know that that particular plant or animal is their ancestor, so now they won't kill it. They revere it, they respect, they pray, they offer the worship. So this leads to the development of a taboo. Taboo is something which is socially prevented from being done. Okay, talking in a manner which is disrespectful to elders is a taboo in our society, because socially it is prevented from doing it. You cannot do that. You cannot do the you violate. When you violate, what happens? When you violate the social norms, you face the social criticism, so criticism from the society. So in a similar manner, killing this animal is considered as a taboo. That means they prevent people from killing it. And if somebody does it, then there might be severe punishment from the tribes or that group who consider that particular totem as their ancestor. Okay, and while he studied this Arunta tribes, he talked about one thing, exogamy. So I'll tell you two terms, endogamy and exogamy. Endo means inside. Endo means within. Exo means outside. So endogamy means marrying within the group is endogamy. Exogamy means marrying outside the group. So the group may be family or the group may be clan, group may be tribe. So that depends. Moiety, fatry, whatever it can be. But endo exo means that within and exo means outside. So he says that exogamy concept has been developed from the belief of totemism, because in Arunta tribes these people used to pray to this totem for pregnancy and children. So they believe that that particular totem is responsible for their pregnancy. So now when they are considered children of that particular totem, so they cannot marry within themselves. That's why they'll marry from other totem. The people group of other group who believe that their ancestor is other totem. So that is the reason he gave that totemism has led to exogamy among the Arunta tribes. So when you write about Frazer's, first you should know that evolution happened, and in the process of evolution, human psychology developed over a period of time. Three stages have three mental abilities and three mental developments, and one magic, religion, and science, how they have thought. Second is about the religion, totem, and taboo, and then totemism and exogamy. These are the contributions of Frazer. Done. So then comes the criticism, because it is difficult to appreciate Frazer's theory now. In the past, they were of great importance in the 20th century, this thought process. But now it's difficult to appreciate it, because you know the clear path and development that religion is not serving only few purpose, it is serving multiple purpose. And at the same time, you notice many societies having religion and magic together. And in the contemporary society, you can see all of them existing together, right? So these things are there. This is the criticism to the Frazer. And he did not go and observe in the field, first hand experience, it's not there. Because if you can see here, that he has depended upon the Christian missionaries, colonial administrators, travelogues, primarily secondary sources, and very few primary sources. Armchair anthropologist, he ignores the contemporary relevance of religion. So these all things you write as a criticism. So criticism of classical evolution altogether. So how do you write it? What criticism you can write? So you see first what they talked about, evolution. In the basic premises, they said it is ceaseless and ubiquitous. That means everywhere, it is no end to it. Evolution happens everywhere. Ubiquitous means everywhere. And ceaseless means there is no end to it. But you said civilization is the like highest stage. You are saying both things, contradicting things. You are saying British is at the highest, British people are at the highest stage. So that is one contradicting thing. Second, what did they say? Psychic unity of mankind. How do you prove it? There is no scientific basis to it. How did you tell it? So there is no scientific evidence also on which you have said it. So these are the two things, right? Unilineal evolution and psychic unity of mankind. They are the base of classical evolution. And then what are the other things you can criticize? You can criticize individually, but overall, if you are writing criticism, first their approach. They have used comparative approach and they are more dependent upon the secondary sources of data. So that means they are conjectural in nature. They are more of imagination, and that's why they are called as armchair anthropologists. Right? Okay. So they have used the derogatory terms such as savagery and barbarism, which are considered or removed from the text today. That is very rudimentary. He is not. He did not do it full completely. He did not go and do it daily. He just when he went, he observed and he just said that is not the field work altogether. He has been to the field. That's it. He did not do field work. Okay. And next, what is the other criticism? They have been Eurocentric. That means ethnocentric in nature. They try to judge others using their own cultural values. So they are ethnocentric in nature. So these are the criticisms that you can write. So there is no separate thing that you sit and learn the points. Just look at what has happened, and for everything you can give your opinion on it, and then you can mention the criticism. Right? Is it clear? Any doubt in classical evolution? Clear, right? So then we are going to the next topic, that is diffusionism. So diffusionism, from the word or from the etymology, what do you understand? First, basic thing. It is an ideology that is trying to explain the process of diffusion. Right? Evolutionism means it's an ideology that is trying to explain the process of evolution. First, basic. Then you come to the word diffusion. Diffusion means spreading of a particular thing. Right? So we know the basic definition of it. Clear? So you need to know what is it first of all. You don't directly jump into the concepts, but you know what is it. So they are trying to explain this, and now we'll see how did they explain. So there are three different groups who try to explain this. So British, Austro-German, and then American school. Try to focus on the understanding part. The rest all is factual. This theory has very less relevance directly, okay, in the exam, but they might ask you one or two questions. Individual concepts or individual words from just like psychic unity of mankind. So when a question is asked on psychic unity of mankind, they just give that one word. What will you write? So first you will try to tell that okay, this word in the initial times was used by the E.B. Taylor, uniformitarianism, assuming that they have given this evolution from different stage at different stages. Okay, this happens at all the places, and then you say that Morgan also believed that germs of thought, which is related to psychic unity of mankind. Then you'll write Frazer, assume that psychological development happens in a similar way at all the places, leading to the different stages of religion, and then you'll be learning one or two people who talks about the similar kind of psychic unity of mankind in other chapters. So, did we write anything different from what we have learned? No. But you should know how to write. What all things to be included. Don't write unnecessary things in the question. Writing about all the stages, savagery, barbarism, these are the features of savagery. They did not ask about it. Right? Here also in this concept of diffusionism, they'll ask you some concepts which are there, that culture area, culture circle. Okay, so they'll also ask you criteria that are used to explain the diffusion. So these kind of questions they might ask. They may not ask you write about diffusionism, but they'll ask you one concept. They'll pick that concept and then they'll give you culture crease. Crease means circle, so that we'll be learning. But I'm telling you how the questions are asked. The questions are mostly linked to the individual concepts rather than the entire theory. In this concept, theory, anthropological thought, here individual concept is mostly asked. So that's why I try to emphasize on the concept, try to understand it, then you go for the factual part, because anyhow PDF is there, slides are there, notes is given. I have given the extra additional page also, whatever that is. So everything is available with you. But if you don't understand that, those all become irrelevant, useless. So focus on the concept. So now diffusion is a first school. There, what they believe is that man, so overall diffusionist people, they believe that man is not inventive in all the places. Man is not that inventive in all the places. You see evolutionists, what did they say? Same thought process, same way the development of brain happens. Okay, mind also develops similar problems to similar solutions. Sorry, similar solutions to similar problems, right? But these people do not agree with that. They say that everywhere man is not inventive. Man is uninventive. He likes to borrow things. He likes to copy things rather than inventing themselves. So that is the basis first where it started. And then British school people, they are called as Egypt based. So they're called as Eurocentric or heliocentric theory. Their theory is also called as heliocentric theory, because just like sun is at the center and all the things are based upon the sun, similarly they considered Egypt at the center and they say that everything originated in the Egypt and it spread to different places. So first theory, they are called as ethnocentric because they believe that only one place is the where origination of particular concept or invention of particular concept happened and cultural trait happened, and the cultural traits are invented only there and then spreads to other places. Then you have other theories which says that in multiple places invention will happen, not just in one place, but the invention spreads from one place to another. So if you have to understand if a cultural trait is diffused or not, suppose there is a culture. Now within this culture you have a trait. Suppose there is a belief system, myth or something. You have some belief that like wearing black dress during the death mourning, okay, black clothes during the death mourning. So that belief is there. Now you will try to know that whether this is diffused or originally present. So to know that, they have given two conditions, two criteria. Criteria of form, okay, or criteria of number. Okay, so that means criteria of quality and criteria of quantity. So those two things they'll check and they'll see, okay, whether it is there or not. So then they also talked about the culture center, culture area. Okay, culture center means the area where that particular cultural trait originated. Culture center. Center means where the origin, center where the origin is, right? So where the cultural trait origin is originated, that is called as cultural center. Then now what is culture area? So the area in which the presence of cultural trait occurs, that area is known as culture area. Now from this concept of culture area, so cultural trait you got to understand. Cultural trait is any trait that is present in the culture. So the definition has been given by Hauskowitz. He says that cultural trait is something you cannot break it further and it has got some meaning within the culture. Okay, so you cannot break it further. Cultural trait is the smallest aspect of culture. So that means if you divide this board into pieces, you will be able to make it to the last size. That smallest size is the trait. If you break the culture into multiple divisions, and the smallest division which you get, which has got meaning, if you divide further, it loses its meaning. So cultural trait is something, the smallest unit of culture which has got meaning, right? So now cultural trait, where it originates is called as culture, cultural, what do you call that, where it originates? Cultural center. So the area in which the cultural trait is present, this is called as so if you see a cultural trait in an area, then you map it, that becomes the cultural area. Then they try to talk about age area. So in the next American school, they come and talk about the cultural age, they talk about the culture concept, culture area, age area. See, first school said that it originates in Egypt, it spreads. Okay. Then second school will come and talk about the form and the shape. Oh, sorry, form and the number. That means criteria of quality and criteria of quantity. Then the third American school talks about the culture center, culture area, and they'll talk about the age area. Age area means, suppose this is the origin, and now if you notice, it is present here and it is present here. If it has to come from here to here, how much time it would take? It would take more time from here to here, right? That means this is the latest and this is the oldest because it takes less time to spread. So this is younger age area and this is elder age area. So this is the concept of age area. So the area in which the spread of the culture happened. So whether did it happen at the earliest or whether did it happen long back. Sorry, earliest means long back or the latest. I'll explain. We are going to discuss this again completely one by one. But I am telling you, first culture center, culture area. So within this culture area, this cultural trait, when it originated here, it will spread. So now it is there at two places. Now it is there here, it is there here within the culture area. So now this has come at the earliest, right? It has come long back. That's why we call it as older culture area. This has come recently. That's why newer culture area or younger culture area. That's it. Spread of the cultural traits, yeah. That then only it will become culture area, right? If it's originated in one place, if it's spread across, then only that area entirely will have cultural trait, and then we call that cultural traits which occupied a particular area as culture area. Age. This is, see, you are having two places. So that means it would have come in 2000 here. Suppose you are in 2024 or 2025 now, right? So from 2025 to spread, it becomes till here it is 2026. To go till here it is 2028 because it is longer. So which is young now? Which, who is born now is the youngest, right? So here, for this is the youngest. This is the oldest because it has been 2 years elder to it. This is elder culture area. This is younger culture area. Are you understanding? 2028 is young or 2026 is young? Right? This is younger culture, youngest. So don't get confused. This is newest, newest, oldest, youngest, eldest. So that's the age area. So this is the age area concept. Okay. So this is the core of diffusionism. Nothing more you will have deep inside. They will try to explain the same thing, but using the technical terminology. That's it. They'll give some examples here and there. This is the thing they are going to explain throughout in the diffusionism. So I want you to make it clear what you are going to learn. These are the things you are going to learn. So we look at it one by one now. So same again, the pattern that you have to follow for any anthropological thought, background, meaning, then you see the premises, contributions, individual contributions, that is different schools, within that individual contributions, then limitations, that is criticism or critical analysis, then you have conclusion. So why did this school come at the first go? They did not accept the classical evolutionists, and because of colonialism you saw many cultures. Okay, so opening of many cultures. So when they spread to multiple places, they could notice what is a similar thing, what is a dissimilar thing, and from there the thought process developed. And Christian missionaries also, the information received from them. So they opposed the evolutionism, not the concept of evolution. They said evolution is happening, we agree. But whatever these people's ideology is there, that one stage to other stage, and everywhere people thinking in same manner, growing in same manner, same stages. So that's not true. They rejected the concept of evolutionism, but not evolution. Evolution is happening, we agree. But in same way, in same stages, we don't agree with that. That is the main thing. So they considered evolution is happening, okay, invention will happen somewhere. And at the same time, diffusion will also happen, it will go hand in hand. Understood? Yeah. So you should know about the background for each individual thinkers. So what is it? Spreading of particular culture trait from one to another. That means you are giving or taking a particular cultural trait. It may be due to direct contact or indirect contact. Direct contact means you go for warfare uh, or migrate to some other place, or you go for travel. So then you come in direct contact, you take the traits from there. Indirect contact is through, these days you can see the technology, media, or some books which have been written by those people who went there directly. So those things are indirect contact. So diffusion overall, if you understand, can be defined as a process by which cultural traits are transferred from one culture to other. It may be through different ways, that is direct or indirect contact. So this has been defined by Winthrop. You can write this definition whenever you want to. Okay. So what is diffusionism? It is analysis of process of socio-cultural change through cultural borrowing. So now how this process is leading to the change in the cultures, this borrowing or giving and taking of particular cultural trait, how is it leading to the change in the cultures? That is known as diffusionism. I hope you are clear. Diffusionism. Then what are the basic premises? People everywhere are not equally inventive and innovative. So invention depends upon the various factors. If you have to invent, then various things has to motivate you to do. So everywhere these factors may not be present. Ecological factors, sometimes if you are put in harsh conditions, then you will innovate or invent something to survive. Or you need sociological factors, that your surroundings should motivate you so much to invent. But everywhere these factors may not be present. If they are there, then it leads to creation or invention. And people are not stationary, they move from one place to another for various reasons. They come in contact with other cultures, and because of which exchange will happen. Okay? So, process of diffusion can be direct and indirect. Then it can be symmetrical, asymmetrical. What do you mean by symmetrical and asymmetrical? So, this is asymmetrical. So, don't give a thought to it as symmetrical. It's not asymmetrical, it is asymmetrical. Correct. So now, what do you mean by asymmetrical and symmetrical diffusion? If you are giving same trait related to particular thing and you are taking it, then that is, suppose you are giving an idea and taking an idea. That is symmetrical. But if you are giving an idea and if you are taking a product, then that is asymmetrical. Simple. Right? Active, passive. If you are intentionally doing, then that is active. But you don't even know that you have borrowed something. If it is unintentional, then that is passive. So these are the classifications. And cultural traits, when they travel, okay, when they travel, with the time, they get diluted. They don't be the same. So if you are taking an idea, what has been said in America during the meeting gets diluted while it comes through the press to the India, because they don't convey exactly what has been said. They try to change the information. So reporter will tell something by adding, then after that editor will make changes. They will tell it in the news, and through that people will understand something that they'll tell others by modifying. So you can see how the cultural trait is getting diluted, right? So only meaningful things are accepted, right? You don't take everything that somebody is giving. You only take when it helps you. So only meaningful traits are accepted, and unnecessary things are rejected. Right? 3 schools, and under each school you have 3 people each. Don't get overwhelmed by seeing these things. There is nothing in the theory or thought of diffusionism, because I already told you what is the content inside it. Only the names are there, or else you don't have any critical explanation over there which is complex. So first you see Eliot Smith. So they are the first to study diffusionism. They are also called as extreme school, because they believe everything originated in one place in Egypt, or keeping it as a center, that they are also called as heliocentric school. So extreme, in the extreme you have these 2 people, Smith and Perry. But Rivers do not see that origin in one place alone. Okay, so Rivers talks differently. That's why we have divided British school into 2: extreme school and Rivers school. Okay, Smith, who is Smith? He is a surgeon, anatomy. He went to Egypt to study anatomy of mummies. Okay, and they stayed in contact with Egypt, and he got impressed by it. Okay, so then he says that Egypt is the cradle or center of civilization, and from there the spread of the cultural traits happened. What he says is that nature man or natural man are those people who are living outside Egypt. He called people who are living outside the Egypt as nature man or natural man. The concept of natural man was full of negative traits. That means they have no language, no arts, no burials, etc. All of the traits were borrowed from the Egypt itself. So, in his book Origin of Civilization, he highlights the similarities between Egyptian pyramids and megaliths of England, Japan, and other Mayan pyramids, everything. So, he tries to show in the Origin of Civilization, in that book, he tries to show the similarity of Egyptian pyramids and the megaliths. Megaliths are nothing but the big stones that are kept on the graves. So he tries to show the similarities. Megaliths of in England, you'll notice that. And when we study archaeology, we'll try to see the similarity of megaliths of England and India. Okay. So they try to show that similarity and Mayan pyramids. And he says that, see, these people initially did not have language, art, or anything. They are natural. So they are natural man, and they borrowed everything from the Egypt itself. Then you have Perry. And you know, this Smith, he says that evolution happened only once, and that too in Egypt only. Evolution, they accepted evolution, right? So they said evolution is happening. We don't accept evolutionism concept, but evolution is happening. And he says that evolution happened in Egypt only, and that too only once. There is one theory known as hydraulic theory of state formation given by Carl Wittfogel. He was influenced by this theory. There was one question, origin of state societies. In 2024, while we were discussing, I told you there is origin of state societies question. So there I told you there are multiple theories explaining the origin of state formation. So this is one of that. So when we discuss this, people ignore. When you tell it in the class, students ignore, they don't bother about it. But when they get question in the exam, they'll understand that it is not there in any of the chapters. Then how are we going to write the answer? You have to use the information that has been provided here and there. So this is direct. And you know Karl Marx theory, and you know L.H. Morgan state formation, how did it happen? Private property has led to the formation of state or nation. So these three things, if you write, your marks will be safe. There is no separate topic that you learn, but it's a combination of things that you have learned. So in the first unit itself, you got the two theories which are talking about state formation. People think that which book we have to read. They keep asking that, sir, which book will help in answering all the questions? No book will help. Just because we are trying to explain you the things that are outside the syllabus, connecting it to what has been talked. So that will help you in understanding broadly. And tomorrow, any broader question comes, you will address it. Or else there is no need of explaining these things. Directly we can tell, okay, he believed this, this is the thing, you write it. But now you can notice that how it's helpful in addressing other parts. So in the book Origin of Civilization, he highlights these things. Evolution happened only once, and that too in Egypt. And he got influenced by this theory. What is this theory? This theory says that irrigation, because you know, like you need water when the agriculture has been developed, you need water for it. So when you need water for your fields, proper irrigation system has to be set up. If irrigation, everybody should get the share, then there should be somebody who is monitoring, there is no misuse. So what will happen? The people will come together and they'll give a responsibility to somebody. So that led to the formation of state. So what is state or government? It is nothing but social control, right? So agricultural irrigation led to cooperation among them and development of central government. So based on professional knowledge and rule, so whoever is having that irrigation knowledge, whoever is having that professional knowledge, so then they became the people who are governing. So now, because of this proper governing of that particular irrigation system, people have got prosperity. That means they've got so much of food to eat. Previously, humans' responsibility was to just get the food. If they can get the food for the day, then they have achieved everything. Now they have so much of food to eat. So that means they have got so much of prosperity. Because of whom? Because who are governing this. Now they started treating them as divine. So they started treating them as divine and they started mummifying it. So that means they started giving the shape of the structure. So that's where the origin of pyramids happen. Are you getting? And he believed that from here only it spread to other parts of the world. What did he explain? He explained the simple concept. Things originate, cultural traits originate in Egypt and it spread to others. But you make a story around it and you explain the same thing by using multiple points. Right? Did you find any other conclusion than? No. There is one book, Origin of Civilization. In that book, he says everything originated in the Egypt. Evolution happened in Egypt and only once, and from there only it spread. How did he talk about it? He talked about it because he has noticed being influenced from the theory of hydraulic theory of state formation of Carl Wittfogel. Clear? Then you have Mr. Perry. Egypt among yeah, see, that was the theory that has been given. Happened, whatever has happened using that only theory has been developed. So there was Nile River, and among the Nile River you have developed the irrigation. So based on that only Carl Wittfogel has given the theory. So now he was influenced by that theory. These are all theories, just remember. They are not the truths. Clear? Then you have Perry. Perry is a school teacher who supported the Smith fully. He wrote a book, Children of Sun, in which he called Egypt as the center of civilization. Okay, so here it's very simple. Both of them assumed the civilization spread to the remaining world from common single center. Children of Sun. Who are children of Sun? Egyptians. They considered themselves as children of Sun God. And they traveled across the world. The belief in